Okay, let's dive into this. We've gathered quite a bit of material here, news reports, some police information, all focusing on one really troubling event.
Yeah, it's the disappearance of 17-year-old Phoebe Bishop. Happened up in the Bundaberg region, Queensland, Australia.
And it's a story that's really gripped that small community, hasn't it? A real mystery. And the worry just keeps growing as time passes.
Absolutely. So today we're going to try and unpack all these sources for you.
Right. We'll pull out the key facts, what we know about when she was last seen, the search efforts, the investigation itself, basically laying out what's been reported.
Just giving you the clearest picture we can, based purely on the information we have in front of us.
So the starting point, Phoebe was last seen. When was it exactly?
Thursday, May 15th, about 8:30 in the morning.
And the location was Airport Drive in Bundaberg. She was apparently on her way to the airport there, the Bundaberg Regional Airport.
That's the report. She had a flight booked heading to Western Australia via Brisbane.
But here's the first really critical point that jumps out from these sources.
She never went into the terminal.
Exactly. Didn't check in, nothing.
We also have her description, about 180 centimeter tall, pale skin, long dyed red hair, hazel eyes.
And last seen, wearing a green tank top, gray sweatpants. Carrying luggage, obviously, if she was heading to the airport.
And this is important. Both her family and the police have said it's completely out of character for her.
Like, just vanishing without telling anyone. Not like her at all.
Which, immediately raises red flags.
So the alarm bells really started ringing when she didn't arrive in WA.
Correct. And that led to the official missing person report being filed by police around 6 p.m. the next day, Friday the 16th.
And her mom, Kylie Johnson, she's been posting online some really just gut-wrenching stuff.
It's incredibly raw. The sources quote her talking about their hearts shattering more and more each day, feeling numb, angry, frustrated, just caught in this awful cyclone of uncertainty.
There's one quote, "This hell is heavy." Just,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And she mentioned Phoebe's little brother asking why she won't take his calls. It just brings home the personal cost of all this.
The community reaction sounds pretty strong, too. Gin, where she was living, and Bundaberg generally.
Oh, yeah. Described as really concerned, disturbed, heartbroken. You get the picture.
People were trying to help, weren't they? Social media looking around.
They were, though police did advise against untrained people searching alone. The terrain can be tricky, plus, potentially disturbing evidence.
Makes sense. And there was that leave the lights on thing.
Yeah, on the Sunday, which was International Missing Children's Day, a nice gesture in Gin, a symbol of hope, really,
Right.
like lighting a path home.
Locals quoted described Gin as, a quiet place where everyone knows everyone.
We all stick together, one said, which
Yeah.
must make this feel even more shocking for them.
So the police investigation kicks off. Early searches. Where do they focus?
Initially, along Airport Drive in Bundaberg, where she was last seen, and the areas nearby. This was starting Monday, May 19th.
But those early searches didn't find her, or her luggage, or anything.
No, nothing reported from those initial sweeps. At that point, police were also asking for information about a specific car.
Ah, yes, the 2011 gray Hyundai i435, seen around Airport Drive.
Right, and they also mentioned they were speaking to her associates, people who knew her, who were apparently helping out with inquiries.
Okay, but then things escalated.
Big time. 6 days after she went missing, Wednesday, May 21st, police officially called her disappearance suspicious.
And that changed everything, I imagine. Led to crime scenes being declared.
Immediately. That same day, the place where she was living in Gin, described as a derelict property that became a crime scene.
And then the car.
The gray Hyundai i435, yes, also declared a crime scene. It belonged to one of her housemates, and police believe that's the car she traveled towards the airport in.
So they seized the car.
Yep, seized for forensic examination. Police and scientific officers were all over the house and the car, trying to piece together a timeline, figure out exactly what happened and when.
Now, the sources say Phoebe lived at that Gin place with two people, James Wood and Tonica Bromley.
That's right. And apparently their initial account to police was that they dropped Phoebe off at the airport.
But, as we said, the airport CCTV seems to show she never went inside.
That's the massive contradiction here, isn't it? It's central to what the sources are highlighting.
But interestingly, police also repeatedly said Wood and Bromley were being cooperative.
Yeah, the reports mention that several times. that they provided detailed accounts, even with that apparent contradiction hanging there.
Then there were those leaked text messages, supposedly from James Wood.
Right. Some sources reported on those, expressing frustration, basically saying police were questioning him intensely, asking if he'd hurt her.
And he reportedly felt it was because of his appearance, purely because I'm a male and look the way I do.
That's what the reported text said. It's crucial, though, and the sources are careful about this, that reporting these texts doesn't imply he's involved. It's just part of the narrative that emerged his reaction alongside the police statements of cooperation.
It's also mentioned he'd previously offered his fishing boat as a reward on social media for finding Phoebe.
Yes, that was reported earlier on.
And the other housemate, Tonica Bromley, she had some unrelated legal issues.
Yeah, unrelated weapons charges from before Phoebe disappeared. Again, just presented as factual context in the reports, not directly linked to this case.
Okay, so suspicious disappearance, crime scenes established. Then the search physically moves.
It does. It expands significantly down to the Goodnight Scrub National Park. That's about 45 kilometers south of Gingin.
And police describe this area as crucial.
That's the word used, yeah. It's described as really dense, bushland, difficult country to search.
So not just officers walking around, they brought in specialist resources.
Absolutely. The reports list specialist police, the dive squad suggesting they're looking in waterways, SES crews, drones for an aerial view, even the Life Flight Rescue helicopter.
A major operation.
Yeah.
And that area, Goodnight Scrub, also became a crime scene.
It did, late on Friday, May 23rd.
And then the search dogs.
Right. On the Sunday, May 25th, they brought in cadaver dogs. Dogs trained specifically to detect human remains.
Which obviously signals a very serious turn in the search strategy.
It does. And the reports suggest the search there has been quite focused, particularly around a creek near one of the roads in the park.
There was a criminal psychologist quoted in one report.
Yeah, commenting that bringing in cadaver dogs often suggests police are seriously considering foul play.
Okay, and within that Goodnight Scrub search, there was another really significant development reported.
This was quite a statement from police. They announced they believe some evidence might have been moved from that Goodnight Scrub area before they got there to secure it.
Moved. That's a big deal.
It is. It adds a whole other dimension. We know forensic teams collected items in evidence bags from the bushland around that time, Saturday the 24th.
But police weren't saying what those items were, or if they were definitely linked to Phoebe.
Not at that stage, no. They were keeping tight-lipped.
And that psychologist you mentioned, he commented on that too.
He did. Said items of interest usually means evidence, maybe something belonging to Phoebe, maybe something belonging to a suspect. And the fact police weren't revealing what they found, he called that a fairly significant development.
And tying into all this seriousness, the homicide squad got involved.
Yep. Reported assisting with the search from Friday, May 23rd. So you've got the homicide squad, cadaver dogs, a specific focus on difficult terrain, and the suggestion of evidence being moved. It paints a pretty grim picture of the investigation's direction.
Although police did also state they were still holding out hope she might be found alive.
Yes, they maintain that public position. Absolutely. Hope remains.
And throughout all this, constant appeals for public help.
Nonstop. They really want dash cam footage, CCTV, anything like that.
Focusing on that gray Hyundai again.
Definitely. Sightings between May 15th and 18th, particularly around Gin Airport Drive, Samuels Road, but also, crucially, near the Goodnight Scrub area, like Mingo Road and Gaynor Road, especially on or around the 15th, the day she vanished.
Detective Thompson had that direct quote, didn't he?
Yeah. People don't vanish. Someone knows something. We're urging anyone with information to contact police immediately. You may have the small piece of information that leads us to finding Pheobe, a powerful plea.
The community obviously wants to help. The Bundaberg mayor acknowledged that.
Yeah.
But there's guidance on how to help, right?
Yes, especially with the difficult terrain and the need to protect potential evidence. The official line is that the physical searching needs trained SES members.
People qualified for that kind of land search.
Exactly. But for others wanting to pitch in, they suggested maybe joining the SES for the future or supporting the searchers currently out there, bringing them food, water, that sort of thing.
Right, supporting the effort in other ways.
So wrapping up where things stand based on these sources, it's moved a long way from just a missing person report.
Yeah, clearly now a suspicious disappearance. Multiple crime scenes, the house, the car, the national park.
Very specialized search efforts ongoing in that tough Goodnight Scrub terrain. Forensic work is happening on whatever items were collected.
But critically, no arrests reported, no one charged yet.
No. And Phoebe's family, they're still caught in this awful limbo. Her mother's words, living through hell, but still hoping.
It's really striking when you lay out the information from these sources, how things evolved. The initial disappearance, the contradictions, the shift to suspicious, the focus on specific locations and that car, and then this idea of evidence potentially being moved before police arrived at Goodnight Scrub.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why that specific remote area? What does the possibility of evidence tampering suggest? It really underscores how vital public information that piece of dash cam footage, something someone remembers seeing, could be. One small detail might just be the key.